What's going on, friends and family? Welcome to The Slop. I wanted to talk about a bunch of games that are coming out this weekend specifically, and I'm going to be kind of just listing them down and being excited about it, because really the moral of the story is I think we're reaching a threshold where it's not just impossible to ever complete your backlog. Already did that video, and I think we should appreciate the backlog for what it is, the infiniteness of the universe for what it is. Hello, my fellow astronauts. Let's continue to explore, even if one of us could ever see all of the universe. That's okay. But there is something extra happening. I think that we're getting so much, a deluge of great content, not just pure information, but great content that is culturally relevant to us specifically, that even then, to that specific narrow-mindedness of just an individual and their interests, I don't think it's possible that we're able to actually hook into every beat of the cultural heart. Let's say you love MMOs or action RPGs, or let's do action RPGs because Path of Exile is coming out this weekend. Well, there's a number of action RPGs that are actually coming out this weekend, aside if you also add in just general RPGs or online experiences. And here's a couple. So yeah, we're going to do a game invasion of Path of Exile, and there's a reason why I love doing game invasions. And Path of Exile, so excited, coming out tomorrow, preload today, let's do it. Links in the description so that you can actually join the video game party club so you can do our invasion and play co-op with us. But also, I really wish that I could cover Dauntless. And I mean, I'll try to play it. I guess it comes out today, maybe, or, I don't know, Dauntless is re-releasing, and that's freaking amazing, and I'm a fan of Monster Hunter. But in terms of okay, what is the ARPG that is most popular, that is most relevant, that I think I gotta cover Path of Exile, and I think if I can only do one game invasion at a time, per weekend, well, it's gonna be Path of Exile. So we collectively, or many people, are gonna miss out a little bit on Dauntless. I mean, we can play it next weekend, we can play it whenever, it's a free-to-play game, we'll jump into it, it's okay. And yeah, you're gonna see a video on Dauntless for sure, but there's also lots of other games that I wanna cover, that I wanna play, there's lots of other things that I wanna do. I mean, it was actually really hard for me to sit down and watch Arcane, because there was some other animations that I wanted to watch, and I freaking loved them, but it's just, we're getting not just thrown a bunch of random bad content or slop content such as this video, but we're actually getting a lot of amazing content, a lot of amazing games coming out very shortly and in rapid pace that I just don't think anybody is going to be able to keep up with. Maybe if you are a hardcore journalist, even me, I'm incentivized to make videos on every game and set up all these events, and I'm telling you, I don't see it being possible. And in fact, that's why I think it incentivizes us to do invasions, because we're not always going to be able to catch every single wave as it's happening. But wouldn't it be great if we could create our own waves? And if that's the case, then yeah, it doesn't matter when things release or how they release or what have you, we can kind of just go at our own pace. And then yeah, we're not going to see the whole universe, but we're going to get a really good big picture because we're going to be there all together. That's sort of the vision, and that's sort of me thinking a little bit more forward with how much content that we're getting. Again, not just pure wall of bullshit, but we're actually getting amazing content, amazing games, amazing experiences that I do think everyone should enjoy, but we're starting to really fight for people's attention. And it's not even just video games, Netflix's biggest competitor is Fortnite, and Fortnite's biggest competitor is Netflix. And that sounds weird, but it is. Everything in life is competing for your attention. So anyways, I know we're competing for attention. Let's just go ahead and talk about all the games that are releasing this weekend as a proof of work here for this thesis, which is obviously Path of Exile, happening tomorrow. Oh my freaking god, this game is going to be hype. It's just going to be good fun. And this is actually such a perfect example of the universe being infinite and complex and chaotic, and people wanting to control it. Literally, that is the Ludo narrative of Path of Exile 2. The actual story, in terms of multiversal chaos, eldritch horror, demons and things, and you being a boy with a stick trying to beat demons up, and then you slowly become God to kill their gods and the gods of gods, and it's going to be great. So basically, what's going to be really fun about this game, which a lot of people seem to be missing, because maybe you're coming from Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, I don't know, maybe some older hack and slashes. This one definitely takes the core of those old school, hack and slashes or Diablo likes, or just Diablo, and then just amps up what made those games special. And mainly that's going to be the player agency with the abilities where you can, maybe you shoot fireballs, but then you make your fireballs explode, obviously, and then maybe it makes the enemies explode, but then they shoot other fireballs, which then those bounce off between the walls and then explode other people. And then, like you are the agent that actually controls that emergent gameplay. Well, that's what emergent gameplay means, but you are the one who actually modifies your skills, modifies your abilities, customizes your classes to kind of an insane level. And it is meant to be daunting, and it is meant to be chaotic, and that is the game. It is kind of actually less the hacking and the slashing and more of how you go about the hacking and the slashing. It's almost more of a strategy and tactical game at that point. So definitely can't wait to play with you guys and teach you all how to kind of really get in and chew on this type of experience. But you know what? We can only do one of those a week, I think, at minimum. So Path of Exile is going to be the game Invasion, and I'm so excited to play with you guys. But next up, we actually have a game that's releasing, I believe today, but obviously over the weekend, is going to be Dauntless. So Dauntless is a Monster Hunter style game, and with the new updates, I'm really excited to see it be like more of a jump in and just have fun kind of experience. Now, what I know of Dauntless, because I played it a good little bit here, is that, so Monster Hunter World, and maybe actually Monster Hunter Rise is a better comparison, where it's like, yeah, there's big monsters, but there's sort of this element of realism with the attacks and the abilities and how you interact with the world. It's still kind of like pseudo-fantasy, don't worry, I understand Monster Hunter, I get it. But Dauntless just kind of moves more as like, if you've played MMOs or more magic-based games, that's more Dauntless, where there's literally like more ethereal, teleporting, shadow, magic-y, wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey kind of stuff going on. And that's basically the difference. It's more arcade, you just kind of jump in, the arena is smaller, you jump in, the mechanics are more MMO minigame-ish, and the abilities and everything and how you interact with the monsters is just subtly different, but it's totally, absolutely, yeah, this is the free-to-play Monster Hunter game. It is just iconic in that sense, but it sort of was short-lived, I think, in terms of its hype, because Monster Hunter World came out and just smashed everyone's face. It was amazing. But Dauntless is now re-releasing, and I think it's a great time to re-release, especially with the hype in between Monster Hunter games. And even though I can totally recommend Monster Hunter Rise, that video is coming out next week, actually, it's totally underrated. But if you just want something where you can just jump in with friends, have a great time for a weekend, such a great game invasion game, especially being free-to-play, Dauntless is so freaking hype. Some of my best videos, I think, were on Dauntless, so I want to jump back into it. We're gonna do it. It's just, I can't get to it this weekend. Maybe I'll jump in a little bit, but for real, that's gonna have to wait till next weekend probably. So let me know, actually, I'm gonna intersect this video. What other games should we actually invade? And it doesn't have to be new games. It can be old games too, where maybe there's not a big population. They need a game invasion. Let's do it, absolutely. So the next RPG, and yes, another action RPG kind of debatable game, is going to be Dungeon Done, that I was actually really excited for. This was actually demoed for a couple of Steam Next Fests, I believe, at least the last one. This one basically reminds me of like Dungeonborn or Dark and Darker, except what if it was creepy? What if it was more of a horror game experience? So it's a co-op, it's almost like you take Dark and Darker and then mix it with like Lethal Company almost, and it's like, yeah, there it is. It's a little extraction horror kind of medieval action RPG sort of experience. Dungeon Done. I don't know. It seems fun. I think the kids are going to love it. I think we're all going to have fun, but that comes out this weekend. And I'm sorry, I'm playing Path of Exile. So again, another game that's likely going to, even if it's not a great game, it's probably going to be a fun experience that's going to be popular, at least for a little bit. And wouldn't it be great if you were playing it at its peak? And that's a big thing for these online games. And this is maybe the moral of the story as we move forward. And actually with that, I'm going to carry it over to Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is a game that you probably want to play day one. And that comes out like today. So I'm somebody who plays Overwatch. I played Overwatch in beta. And also if you play fighting games and other competitive games, you know how important it is to play day one. This is also happening just on the heels of freaking World of Warcraft releasing classic servers that everyone is obsessed with. So another debatable like action RPG experience that some people have just, in fact, I made that choice myself. It's like if I'm going to buy games or spend a certain amount of time, is it going to be World of Warcraft Classic? I did Hardcore last year or earlier this year and I had a lot of fun with that. So it's like, oh man, I have to balance my gaming diet. But also importantly, when it comes to competitive games or like online games, you do want to be there day one because the hype wave in the community makes the difference. Again, another incentive of me wanting to do game invasions. So Marvel Rivals, Overwatch clone, except actually done really great. Then again, to be honest, I think most hero shooters are actually really freaking fun. I know they can't all survive. I know, these games aren't just competing even directly. Like Gigantic, rest in peace. I love Gigantic. I had so much fun. But Gigantic is actually a perfect example of a game we need to invade, by the way. But Marvel Rivals is a game that we should be playing all together right now. However, we're going to be playing some other games, and that's just the case of it. That's just the case of where I'm deciding to play games, or maybe you are going to play Marvel Rivals instead of Path of Exile, but in that sense, you're missing out on, that day one and learning and solving the game together. So here we have multiple games as a service that are very interesting and would be fun to play as a community, to join the Discords, the forums, the Reddits, solve the game together as a community. Consider it almost like a puzzle box. And that's how a lot of people play these games, especially the competitive ones. And it's really awesome to be a part of a community, which really most of the time feels most like a community the moment everyone is discovering it together. This is a beautiful experience, which is why I'm trying to simulate, synthesize, and recreate it with Game Invasions. But Marvel Rivals coming out December 5th, which is today. I'm uploading this video today. It's too much. And so what do I think is happening? Well, we're getting more games as a service than ever. And it's the most important thing for games as a service is to kind of jump in during like the updates, the expansions, and obviously the release windows. It's a little bit different. Like I can play, I don't know, Breath of the Wild whenever I want to. I don't need to play it day one. It helps, obviously, even for single player games. Maybe that's a whole rant video in itself. I'll do more slop, don't worry, it's coming. But guys, there is so many games coming out, not just games period, but specifically even to the specificity of like a genre. But I think really what's happening is we're just getting a lot of games as a service. And the tragedy is, especially somebody who has reviewed MMOs like as long as MMOs have existed, I've noticed, I mean, we all can just know that MMOs, especially online games, they don't always last. Not only do they not always last, but they transform. In fact, that's why World of Warcraft Classic has just re-released. Because even though Classic already exists, there is still something special about having a community play all together all at once in a fresh server. These games are ecosystems and their individual economies all together. And then not only that, just to that specificity, but we have a sort of currency of attention and everything is vying for it. And when a game can be a totally different game depending on the day that you're playing it, the time that you're playing it, it's really tragic how easy it is to miss out on amazing experiences that I think most people would benefit from because we're doing something also that is amazing. Like we just literally can't do everything all at once all of the time. So yeah, maybe it would be possible for you to get through most of your backlog for the things that would impact you the most. But there is a ton of content out there, that's not just movies, that's not just, single player games or maybe even a book. There's content out there like concerts. There's things that like world events. There are things that exist on this world, in this plane of existence, right? In our lives that are temporary. And video games, especially games as a service, obviously, are temporary. Even if a game technically is like you can download it and play it, it might not be exactly the same experience. It might not be that ethereal moment where everyone's coming together to do something, to accomplish something, to realize something, and then that creates like these waves of morals or ideas, a zeitgeist. And what I'm noticing here is that, holy crap, there's just a lot going on, and we need more systems, we need more people to help organize all of this. That's why you see such a plethora of list videos. I'm a big fan of those, obviously. You have people making, reviews and things. It's like, where should your attention go? This is why it should go here, and then this is what it will do for you. But we need even more than that. I don't know if Steam can help out. I do think that, algorithms are fantastic for that. Sometimes they tend to propagate negativity, but maybe we need some more gaming algorithms. Maybe we need more people like me who are helping to do game invasions and group people together. So it's like, okay, no, shut up. We're going to go do this. This is awesome. It's just, even then, we are going to have to work hard for this. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of content thrown at our eyeballs constantly all of the time, but it's not all equal. It's not all the same. Some is better than others at certain times. And, dissecting that and understanding that for yourself is hard enough. But guys, we got to come together. We got to work harder. We got to make communities in order to help share the love, to help. I'm going to bring back an old catchphrase, to keep the hype alive. So what do you guys think about that? What solutions do you have? I know for me personally, damn, there's so many games. I'm still looking through like the list. It's just, I want to play all these games, but I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to organize game invasions, the best way to go about creating content to promote like certain games that I think we should all play that are important, that are, like they have morals. They teach us things, or frankly, they're just really freaking awesome. They're just art in their own right. I want to dissect it, make that content, but not just for me. I need to share it, and I need to consume this content with you guys too. That's the point of these online type of games, or really I think that's the point of art in general. It's to share. Maybe not always in an exact same experience like, oh, I feel what you feel, but more like, what do you feel? What are you, experiencing? I want to get a piece of that, and I want to share with you. And it's going to be messy and muddy and weird, and sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, especially as we get just spammed infinite content from all directions, good, bad, amazing, and awful, tragic, and trauma-inducing. But I think it's important that we learn how to actually organize all of that for ourselves, and then also for our community, how to create communities and how to consume content all together, especially again for like these online games. Obviously we need to, and I think it'd be good for the developers too. So if we can interact somehow, some way, I don't know, these are just thoughts and feelings. All I can say is there's a problem very quickly arising, and I notice it as somebody who's trying to build a solution. We're going to need way more solutions. I'm going to need some help. So if you guys want to help me be moderators or organizers, or if you're a developer and you want to have your game invaded, please let me know, email me, or, click the link in the description. But that's where we're standing. There's a lot of awesome games coming out. How do we get to them all? What do you guys think? But regardless, whatever you're playing, whatever you're doing, I hope you have fun. Hey, my name's Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.